The following information is author's personal opinion about current situation taking place between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and also a personal vision of possible development of Armenia as a country and a nation that could possibly lead to greater results for this country than you might have expected. Armenia is a great ancient nation with rich yet complicated history. It's one of the first Christian states in the world, established long before most of the modern countries, which makes it easy to find historical evidences of what the exact lands Armenia was occupied throughout its history. Among those lands is Nagorno-Karabakh. We can't deny this is historical Armenian land as well as Azerbaijani's land, and many others. The history is truly complicated here. The other fact we can't deny as well is that among a number of nations under Russian occupation, Armenia has become a victim of Stalin's ignorant national politics. Lots of nations have suffered from it. Many have lost their lands and historical roots, languages, entire cultures. To name a few, those are Ukrainians, Crimean Tatars, Kazan Tatars, and others. So since the conflict has started back in 1988, it has been solved by simply freezing it, which made a situation of time bomb that no one knows when it's going to explode and the conflict will start again. The important thing here that should be noted, that situation was created with direct participation of Russia. Does it surprise anyone now that first, the firing has started again, and second, Russia is now trying to be a peacemaker in this mess? But what does Russia actually want here? Let's explore. First, for those who are politically mature and are aware of what Russia is, should be clear that behind all those Russian words about brother nations, cultural ties, and other bullshit, there is nothing more than pure mercantile interests. Just listen to this guy from the interview given to some American channel.
I think the best solution would be a kind of exchange, territory in exchange for security. Nigar rightly said that not only Nagorno-Karabakh is now controlled by Armenians, but also 7 regions around it, which had Azerbaijani population before the war ended in 1994, the last war, I mean. This is no man's land, there are almost no people living there.
Yeah.
So what is needed is to find an honest broker who would be able to help the two sides find this solution, territory in exchange for security. I understand the emotions, but this is the only way forward, because
So we heard a statement made by Russian analytic that they want territory in exchange of guarantees of security. But what exactly they mean by those guarantees? How exactly Azerbaijan could provide those guarantees? I bet Russians see the only possible way to do this is to make Azerbaijani politics dependent on Russia. But thankfully, thank God, Azerbaijani side did not agree with this proposal, as she expressed in that very interview. Listen to this.
Arsen, I just want to go to Nagar. She wants to say something, and I'll come straight over to you. Okay, go ahead, Nagar.
Thank you very much, Anand. Well, actually, what my colleague from Russia said, territory in exchange of security, this is absolutely not okay for us. We will never accept that. Our president has made it clear. But our plan, you will ask, what is Azerbaijan's plan? Azerbaijan's aim is to restore its territorial integrity, to rebuild all those areas, because Nagorno-Karabakh and especially all 7 adjacent regions, they turned into ghost cities. There are no infrastructure, no houses, basically nothing there. Azerbaijan is planning to rebuild it all, and we want to have peaceful coexistence of Azerbaijan and Armenian community.
Now it's clear. Russia wants another frozen conflict there because it can get lots of benefits from it, like following. First, having frozen conflict there, Russia will be an arbiter and gain more political weight on international arena as a peacemaker. Second, Russia would keep both sides dependent on Russian arbitrary and thus keep influence on both countries. Third, having a frozen conflict there, Russia would oppose to Turkish influence on Azerbaijan its own influence. And finally, being involved in local politics there, Russia would be a factor in oil-gas business in the region. Basically, with the conflict being frozen there, Russia could manipulate both sides for its own profit. The inevitable conclusion: Russia wants a frozen conflict there for sure. It does not want real peace. You may think a frozen conflict would be a good solution if the sides would just stop firing. But it would not. The conflict has already been frozen over many years, and you see it ended up with another war and numerous deaths of innocent people. It's not good, and it's not gonna work for anyone, except Russia, of course. For Armenians, though, that would mean that another time bomb will be still working and will inevitably explode at any time in the future. Same is true for Azerbaijan. Well, we'll see how it's gonna develop. The only thing remains clear: as long as Armenia will be under Russian influence, nothing good is gonna happen to Armenia. But what would happen to Armenia if there was no Russian influence? Let's talk about this. So what would be another way for Armenia? Could Armenia choose another way for the nation? Now I'll try to paint a picture how I personally see it. But first, a disclaimer. I'm not an Armenian, I have never been there, and my knowledge about the country is pretty much very basic. Although having the ability to think critically and make logical conclusions, I think I have the right to make a suggestion to the entire nation of Armenia, which strategical path they should choose in order to establish not only reliable peace within country, but also good relations with all their neighbors. Let's go! First, as we've learned before, Russia is holding Armenia back. It's a bad factor, which strategically plays against possible development of Armenia. Specifically, I'm talking about Russian military base in Armenia. You should exclude this Russian factor from your politics, and Russian military base should be removed from your territory. Instead, you should establish more tight connections with Georgia, since it is an only friendly neighbor as well as it is also Christian country. You have lots of similarities, and also Georgia has already chosen a course towards integration with European Union, which is a wonderful possibility to you guys to join this course as well. You should tie your economy and diplomacy with Georgia as much as possible up to make an economic, political and cultural union with this country. This democratic European way is just proven to be reliable, and think about it geopolitically. Both Turkey and Georgia are nominees for EU membership. Despite this is kind of a hard topic to discuss, since Turkey has kind of totalitarian style of leadership and Georgia has fallen a victim of Russian aggression and now has sort of disputed territories of Abkhazia and Northern Ossetia. But nevertheless, the ultimate path of the entire region does already lead your neighbors to where they belong, civilized European community, and your nation can be part of it instead of wasting your time, resources, and even your live people on empty Russian promises. And the most painful topic is Nagorno-Karabakh. It's obvious now that military confrontation with Azerbaijan is not gonna get you anywhere. You're gonna lose this war. Azerbaijan has the international law on its side, as well as much more powerful army, not to mention much more powerful allies than you have. You have to accept the fact that part of your nation will be a part of another country. Unfortunately, but this doesn't mean your people will be abandoned by you. This actually gives you an opportunity to build a stronger Armenian lobby in Azerbaijan. You could take advantage of the real peace to develop stronger and wealthier communities of your nation both in Armenia and Azerbaijan. In conclusion, I'm afraid I have to express doubts that this peaceful scenario with exclusion of Russia from the region and establishing real peace in Nagorno-Karabakh is actually possible to achieve. It's much more likely that Russia will push you both to another frozen conflict for an uncertain amount of time. It's up to you though to choose who to believe, but you have a possibility to get some advices from those who have already learned what Russian friendship is with their own skin.